Champions League predictions of Game Week 1. Okay, it's back. Okay, the best competition in Europe. Okay, it's happening. And look, the predictions. Tell us down below if you agree, if you disagree. Like this video, because if you want to see more predictions, we see by that like count. Okay, people. So go bold. So let's start from the Tuesday fixtures with one that is going to be an interesting one. AC Milan against Newcastle. Tonali against AC Milan. An AC Milan team that just lost 5-1. They need pure inspiration. And Rafael Leão, Pulisic, Olivier Giroud, Okafor, Chukwueze, they need to do something about this. And I'm dying to see what's going to happen. But, whoa, Breton, what are you thinking here?
Well, it brought me down to earth on the Rossoneri, that's for sure. I mean, that was not just a beat. That was a drubbing. That was a butt-kicking, and one that hopefully will piss Pulisic and Chukwueze and obviously some of the more established players on AC Milan off to the point where they're going to want to take it to Newcastle. But Newcastle ground out a win, but they're new. They're not new, but they haven't been in the Champions League in a while. So I am going to pick AC Milan, chip on their shoulder, angry that they basically lost to Inter Milan for the 5th time in a row. Ooh. I repeat, 5 times in a row they have lost to Inter Milan in the Milan derby. That's terrible. It's unacceptable. And I think that AC Milan is going to bounce back here at home, and they will beat Newcastle 2-1. And I will say that Christian Pulisic will also bounce back and he will score in this game.
And I like Pioli, but that stat isn't good. 5 losses?
No.
Like Inter Milan with Inzaghi. We'll be talking more about them. But yes, Breton, it's going to be an interesting one. I wouldn't be shocked if a draw happens here. But AC Milan, I agree with you. Need a win. And I'll be going with AC Milan. Tell us what you're thinking about this one down below. So another game here. Playing early. It's Young Boys against Leipzig. Leipzig away. And if we're talking about Leipzig sold Joško Gvardiol. But Simakan, Lukeba, David Raum, they're going bold. And the most important figure, Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons in 4 games has 3 goals and 4 assists. It's time to shine. Crazy. And in the Champions League, that's where he will shine. Pay attention to RB Leipzig with Xavi Simons. Bold wonder kid, people. Leipzig wins.
So I think I'm with you. Yeah, Leipzig wins, and but I will say Xavi Simons might take the night off in the sense of being on the score sheet all the time. I think because he was rested or he only played a little bit over the weekend, where Xavi Simons and Lois Openda were definitely the stars. I think it will actually be Benjamin Sesko that winds up getting on the score sheet against Young Boys. But this ain't Young Boys. The Young Boys that has impressed us a lot in the past. They've sold their best player, Fabian Rader, to Stade Rennais. So yeah, I'm with you. Leipzig wins. Easy.
Leipzig. And you said it, man. Sesko, Openda, Dani Olmo. Leipzig, even though they sold Gvardiol, they sold Szoboszlai and Nkunku, they have solid attacking options. Pay attention to them. I am excited for this one that we're going to be talking now, Breton, because yes, they lost Ange Postecoglou, but Celtic in the Champions League, they're not playing at home, but they're never easy. Feyenoord of Arne Slot versus Celtic. What are you thinking, Breton?
This is in Rotterdam, so I'm gonna have to say Feyenoord wins this one. I don't think this is this isn't a Celtic team. If this were at Celtic Park, we'd have a tougher discussion, but I'm going to say Feyenoord 3-1 because, man, did you see them over the weekend? 6 goals and 6 different nationalities scoring those individual goals, and how can you not get behind that? They've got Igor Paixão, they've got Santi Jimenez, they've got Yankuba Minte, who is on loan from Newcastle, scoring, and they're coming into this match against Celtic, playing at home, 17 goals in the last 3 matches. I got to say Feyenoord wins this.
Oh, you said it all. I am going Feyenoord too. And my prediction is with Feyenoord, I think Santiago Jimenez most possibly will be at the goal sheet because this is one of the strikers that can be sold next summer for a fee that will be bold, okay? They refused Feyenoord 30 million, okay, as it's rumored from many other teams. So pay attention to Santiago Jimenez. Okay, here. Lazio Atlético de Madrid, okay? This was a tough weekend for both teams. Atletico loses 3-0 against Valencia. I wasn't believing what I was seeing, Breton, okay? Simeone ball is not going bold. They had a good start before this Valencia game, but look, what a weekend it was for Felix. We'll talk more about that. And Lazio. Lazio that lost to Juventus. I'm not surprised about that result, but still, it's a bad result leading up to a game against Atlético de Madrid. Lazio Atlético. What are you thinking, Breton, here?
I think Simeone learns from his weekend butt whooping, and I think that he at least pulls out a draw in the capital city. I think Lazio is there for the taking, but I also don't think that they're just going to lie down and take it. So I say draw. They go even, but yeah, I'm more surprised over this weekend at how bad both of them played. But Atleti needs it, and they need at least a point, and I think they're going to get it because they're not as bad as they played over the weekend, although they were horrible.
Horrible. That was horrible what we saw. An interesting fact, this is Sarri against Simeone. So it's always a good game to see two master tacticians in their own style of play that many people may not like, but it's always interesting to see a Champions League game with these two. I will be going with Atlético de Madrid because I think when it's Champions League, this team ticks different, just like their neighbors in Madrid too. But tell us down below if you're agreeing with our predictions, and make sure you like this video and the podcast, showing that you want more videos just like this. But here, Bretson, this is a big one, and it's Paris Saint-Germain against Borussia Dortmund. A team of Borussia Dortmund that over this weekend, Mats Hummels once again shows himself as a legend, okay? Remontada.
New striker.
New striker. Remontada with the signature of Mats Hummels. That's what they need against the PSG. Goals and set pieces. Do you believe against PSG, Breton?
I think PSG is backed into a corner here. I really do think PSG is backed into a corner. Listen, they're playing in Paris, but this is a very I'm going to say it, shockingly bad start to the season for PSG. They're wasting 7 goals to start in Ligue 1 in just 4 or 3 games, I think, for Kylian Mbappe. And they're drawn into the group of death. They only have 2 wins in 5 to start Ligue 1. I think they'll figure it out eventually. And now they've got to face a Dortmund side that actually won. But listen, I'm not convinced by Dortmund. I am not convinced by them in the slightest. I honestly did not like the transfer window. I think PSG is going to win this one, and it will actually be PSG starting to put things together. As long as Kylian Mbappe is on the field and they're playing in Paris, I think that they will get this done against Dortmund.
I completely agree with you. I think this is the moment. Mbappe takes different in World Cup, in Champions League, especially when it's his last season, expectedly last season in Paris, okay? I think Mbappe could even score a hat-trick against Dortmund. He can go bold against this team that defensively has struggled in their past few games. Mbappe, this is the time, and this is the last season to win the Champions League. Tell us down below if something crazy can happen. And Luis Enrique, over the weekend, wasn't happy to see his team lose the way they did against Nice of Masterclass Mofi 2. You talk loads about Mofi, Breton. So you deserve a lot of credit towards the listeners that know because of you about Terem Monfi, okay? Tell us down below more players we have to be attentive to, okay, over the market. But here, a team, Man City against Red Star. I think both of us will agree that Man City will win this game. And I want to say, 4 years ago, Erling Haaland had his debut in the Champions League, and he scored a hat-trick. Erling Haaland. And I fully expect this Champions League season for Haaland to have more goals than last season in the Champions League that he won. And I'd like to see in the semi-final and in the final, Haaland being crucial and improving in that sense, and then winning the Ballon d'Or, and everyone would see him as the best player in the world too. But it'll be a Euro year too. It will be a Euro year. Ay, Mbappe.
Yeah, and maybe a Euro year where Norway will not qualify, which would be really, really bad for club football because that will extra piss Erling Haaland off. That's for sure. He'll be scoring 90 goals in a year like somebody else we know. But listen,
91.
I got a lot of flack, right? I got a lot of flack for saying Red Star would finish 4th, right? in this. So I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch this with open eyes, because what better way to convince me otherwise than going to Manchester and actually getting a point or something. But no, I think Julian Julian Alvarez is going to, he deserves a lot of credit this season. He had 2 assists the other day against West Ham. And he is I think he's going to be central to this win. I think they're going to make sure they get it done. And come on, Jeremy Doku getting off the mark, scoring his first goal for Manchester City. Couldn't make me any happier over the weekend for such a good kid that we've seen go from Anderlecht to Stade Rennais to now Manchester. So yeah, I think Red Star, it just so happens, or maybe it's a positive, that they get what I think will be a butt whooping out of the way in first match day. But I'm watching it extra carefully. I want to see good things from this team from Belgrade, and we'll see if it happens.
The Etihad is now a tough team a tough stadium to play now with Pep Guardiola and Man City. I think we have to dedicate a bit of time here with Man City, because Man City, we both agree, is the favorite right now to win the Champions League. Man City too has the best defense in the world. They have Ruben Dias, that is the best center back, a pure leader that has never lost the Premier League. And now they add Gvardiol, they have Akanji, they have Hake, all players that are comfortable to play with the ball at their feet, and defenders. The style of play is ridiculous. And you said a name too, Julian Alvarez, that is substituting the role of Kevin De Bruyne behind Erling Haaland. 5 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. Alvarez is delivering and showing the importance that he had to. The importance he had to last season for the European treble and for Argentina to win the World Cup too. And the last player, last 2 players, Bernard Silva. Bernard Silva's extension is vital. And against West Ham, we saw it in pure action. Such an intelligent player. The moves that he does, he improves everyone around him. The value of Bernard Silva for Guardiola is no doubt more than 100 million to lose this player, because Barca wanted him big time. And the last player, you said Doku. He had, like you said, Pep Guardiola at the end of the West Ham game said, Jeremy Doku is a proper winger. And we know when Guardiola he's saying these statements, this is going to be a world-class player in the next 1 to 2 years. Jeremy Doku. And Man City keep doing this. Foden, Alvarez, Ruben Dias, Haaland, all reasonably young. And make Man City the favorite in all this. But tell me if you agree with everything that I'm saying. Tell me, because I want to know.
Yeah, and there's a lot there, but it's all new players for the most part. I mean, we talk about Haaland, but Jeremy Doku, that snapshot at the end of that run, I mean, that's what he is known for. That's what he can do, and I can't wait to see it on the Champions League stage. So we'll see, but I think Manchester City is going to wrap up Group G relatively easily.
And until now, all wins for Man City this season, just like other teams like Inter that we're going to be talking about. But Man City have played against West Ham away and Newcastle 2 at home. That Newcastle was without De Bruyne. A match that Foden and Alvarez had to deliver big time too. Pep Guardiola, squad rotation, rebuild, elite. That's why Man City has 5 Premier League titles in 6 years. But tell us down below if you're agreeing and if you're enjoying this podcast right until now. Okay, so Barca. Now, this is what I'm excited. Barca against Antwerp, Breton. What do you have to say about this one?
Okay, let me start with Antwerp. I think Barcelona is going to win this, but let me just start with Antwerp. I am very, very excited from an FC Wonder Kid perspective to see how Arthur Vermeeren does on this type of stage. What better way to audition for the large clubs of the large leagues than to play well against a Barcelona. But listen, I know you're going to talk about João Felix, so I will not steal your thunder in 1 second. I'm going to talk instead about the embarrassing international window that Poland and Robert Lewandowski had. And I think that very clearly, Lewandowski took that incredibly personally. And as we saw in that ridiculous showing against Real Betis, and I think it's going to continue against Royal Antwerp. So I only fear for Royal Antwerp at this moment in time. I don't think it's a matter of if Barcelona wins. It's just a matter of by how much. And I'll throw a little, nice little side bet in there. Lamine Yamal gets on the score sheet in this one, scores his first Champions League game.
I love it. I love it. Okay, a lot of topics, a lot of things to mention from what you said, and just mentioning, like you said, Arthur Vermaelen. A player like this on the market for 15 to 20 million, I agree with you. He's auditioning against Barca, and Barca might be the team to get him, okay? The playmaking ability of this man. Mark van Bommel knows what's up, and that's why he's starting at such a young age. Pay attention to this game and to that young midfielder. But pay attention to Barca too, because I think Barca is going to be now the hot topic in the next 3 months, Breton. I'm fully excited for the Barca rebuild. And yes, Barca right now have the best goalkeeper in the world with Ter Stegen. Courtois is injured. They have one of the best fullback duos in the world with Balde and Cancelo. They have an elite midfield options with Pedri, Gavi, Frenkie de Jong, Oriol Romeo, Gundogan. So many options of quality. And they have one of the best strikers with Lewandowski that has the support of João Felix that will make a difference. Barca are built different this season, and Xavi and Laporta deserve big credit for what they're doing in this team. I don't know if the people know, but Barca won 5-0 against Real Betis, and João Felix, the intelligence, and I said it, João Felix, best season at Benfica was with a pure striker in front of him that was Seferovic that scored more than 20 league goals. Now with Lewandowski, I know at left wing, Felix with Lewandowski as striker, that will be one of the best duos watching for pure entertainment and intelligence in full display. Watch Barca, and this is a new era. Right wing is a spot that they have to improve, and I'm talking all this about Barca, Breton, and Vitor Roque is going to be coming in January, okay? And hopefully a new right winger too, okay? Very needed.
How about that dig that João Felix took at Chelsea after the fact, right? Just saying, it's amazing what you can do, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's amazing what you can do when there's a club that actually has a structure, right? That has a particular playing style, that likes to circulate the ball faster and quick so that there's openings like that. And you can tell who he was talking to without actually naming names. But yeah, it's like we've always said, João Felix just needs to be happy and playing ball. And I think he's going to find himself a hell of a home at Barcelona, which he fought for. So he fought for that move.
And to see what Laporta and Xavi did in 2 years, the new references at Barca. Pedri was developing, but Pedri's now big time. Pedri, Gavi, Ronaldo Araújo, Balde, now Felix, Cancelo, Lewandowski, Gundogan, Frenkie de Jong, Ronaldo Araújo, Conde, Ter Stegen. These are lots of names that are staying at this club, and that will make them La Liga winners. I expect them to win La Liga this season. That's my prediction, and I expect them to beat Royal Antwerp too. And tell me if you agree with what I'm saying here with Barcelona in this Champions League video. But yeah, the next game, Shakhtar Donetsk of the same group against Porto. Porto, look, I think I'm going to stay for starters. I think Porto's going to win this game against Shakhtar.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you. Actually, no, I am going to disagree with you. I'm going to say scrappy Shakhtar in Poland, even though they haven't played at home in what feels like years now. I think that Shakhtar will actually scrap out a draw in this one. I don't think Porto's firing on all cylinders yet. Do you?
I don't think they are. Marcano got injured too. That was a blow. That's a big blow. But I still think Porto, it's in the Champions League that they need to get these financial funds, okay? To do transfers like Ivan Jaime, Alan Varela, others, staying with Diogo Costa. I know Otavio left for 60 million. That is a big replacement that they'll have to do. But I think Porto with Sérgio Conceição, Champions League time, they took different. So that's why I'm going to go Porto. But let us know if you're agreeing or disagreeing in the comment section down below.
Yeah, well, and maybe Shakhtar for this game, just this game, can get Mykhailo Mudryk on loan from Chelsea so we can see the Georgi Sudikov, Mykhailo Mudryk connection that we all want to see again. But no, in all honesty, without joking, all joking aside, Sudikov is the one you want to watch on Shakhtar. Beyond obviously all the different players you want to watch on Porto. But Shakhtar, very, very terrible once again Champions League campaign where they can't play in their own stadium. So I think they're going to be scrappy. I think they're going to get more points than most people give them credit for, and they might be able to scrap out third place. We'll see.
It's gonna be an interesting one, but I think third place would be positive after selling to Anatoly Trubin. I agree with you. Now the Wednesday fixtures. Let's start here with a Galatasaray Copenhagen. A Galatasaray now has Wilfried Zaha. They have Akim Ziyech. The first game, first assist too. Okay, watch this match because Ziyech is there. Mertens, so many interesting figures. And Icardi that is happy and can score mad number of goals. I think it was 22 goals in his last 24 games in the league last season. Okay, that is bold stats. So I'm going to go with Galatasaray beating Copenhagen.
Yeah, beating FC Wonderkid. That's what we like to say. No, but I have two words beyond Icardi, beyond Zaha. It's Kerem Aktürkoğlu. I really, really like this 24-year-old. He's a winger. He's already got 4 goals, 5 assists, and 10 appearances this season in all competitions. And I think he's got 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 4 league games. So Aktürkoğlu is going to be the guy that is the glue for Galatasaray to beat FC Copenhagen. But hey, attention's going to have to be paid to all those names that you mentioned. And that's why I think, Galatasaray is somebody that needs to be given respect in Group A, especially after what we've seen and how much development Manchester United might have to do, but we'll talk about them in a second. So, Galatasaray, I think, is going to show off their chops, and I think they're going to beat up on FC Copenhagen, but it's going to be Aktürkoğlu that you're going to want to watch moving forward.
I like that. I like that mention, too. He's a player to watch. I completely agree, and important for his national team. Like that shout. Now, you said it. Bayern Munich against Man United. Boy, oh boy, Man United. I already know, man. This is going to be not a sad talk, but a realistic talk for what's happening. The Man United situation, I'm not going to put all blame at Erik ten Hag. I think he has a lot to blame for what's happening. The manager must be. But look, the Glazers, I think fundamentally are running this club the wrong way. And they have supported, Erik ten Hag in a lot of transfers, but not enough in decisions that are like Mason Greenwood, Anthony, Sancho related, off the pitch. You need the support and you need to be fundamentally rigid and having the culture of the team. The culture that, look, Ronaldo said it, okay? Ronaldo, once again, hated for speaking the truth. The culture of Man United is not the same, just like Mourinho said in the past. They have to change the management at the top. How didn't the Glazers even speak to a legend like Cristiano Ronaldo? He said that in the interview. Poor management. So Erik ten Hag, let's see if he has the support. But if not, I do see him manage one day another big team. Let's see.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think we're at the point where we're definitely using the Glazers as more of a clutch, like the evil behind the curtain or whatever you want to say. I agree that they're not who you want running the club moving forward, but there's enough talent in this United side, although they have injuries, that they should be beating Brighton at Old Trafford, or at least, scraping out a draw. So I do think Ten Hag gets more flack for this particular loss to Brighton because I think De Zerbi outclassed him. I think De Zerbi outcoached him. And I agree, he's dealing with some raw deals right now. And the Glazers didn't force whatever to happen or whatever transpired with Greenwood. They didn't force whatever transpired with Sancho. And they certainly didn't force their press to be completely ineffective against the Brighton side that was perfectly beatable. De Zerbi's great, but come on. You guys should be getting a point. So I agree with Man United supporters booing at Ten Hag for taking off Højlund, even if he is on a minutes restriction. But here, that's your silver lining. Højlund looked pretty dang good, in my opinion. He looked like he is ready to beat up on somebody. The only wish I have for Manchester United is that it was against Copenhagen or Galatasaray first, instead of losing at home and then having to go to the Allianz Arena. So, with that said, Bayern's beatable. Bayern is beatable. And I'm going to say Manchester United is going to be looking for a result. And if Ten Hag is the manager, if these guys are as pissed off as I think they are after that loss to Brighton, I really hope so. I think they're going to get a point at least, and that they could potentially upset Bayern at Allianz Arena. And guess what? I have absolutely no basis but pure gut feeling on me saying that. So I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to split the middle, and I'm going to say Manchester United grabs a draw at the Allianz Arena.
I'm gonna be the devil in this for Man United fans. I completely disagree. I think Bayern Munich will completely outclass Man United. I think Casemiro's looking very poor form. The Man United team has a big problem. That is, if Højlund doesn't play, Martial plays. No options, okay? And you see a Man City team, an Arsenal team, even a Tottenham team, they seem like they have more options than them right now. An injury-prone team at Man United with Varane, with Luke Shaw, with Amrabat that was just signed. He's injury-prone, unfortunately. Mason Mount, they need solutions. And this Sancho situation with Antony, I am very pessimistic. And even Maguire.
Tough.
I do understand that Maguire does get a lot of hate for wrong reasons, okay? But Maguire refused to leave Man United this summer. I know he believes that the best thing for Man United and him is to stay at Man United. But Man United fans, Erik ten Hag, I think they have a better judgment from this. Maguire, please leave the club. It's the best for everyone. The best for everyone. Yeah. You have more minutes for England than Man United. Okay? Stop. That's why you're getting just abused. Completely abused. You're one of the most watched players in the world, and Man United too. It's crazy for me what's happening with that. And Bayern against Leverkusen was the first game they dropped points this season, Breton. And Harry Kane has 4 games, 4 goals, and he knows how to score goals against Man United. And I think that will be the case. I am strong Man United in this game.
Okay, you're strong
Bayern.
Against Manchester United in this game. You're strong Bayern in this game. Okay, all right. I was after all that, I was like, wait, what? I agree. Like Harry Maguire is like waiting for his Richarlison moment. Yeah, it was great to see Richarlison get his little limelight after the comments. Whatever. We'll see if it's actually a consistency thing or something he can do consistently, but there is no easy like, hey, I'm just gonna like open the door and leave Manchester United. But yes, transfer window's closed. It's closed in Turkey now, I believe, too. It's closed in Saudi Arabia. It's closed in Qatar. So Harry Maguire ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So there's going to be a lot more abuse to come, or he'll have his Richarlison moment. We'll see.
Sancho.
But my goodness.
Sancho has to leave Man United for the disrespect that is happening with Erik ten Hag. Or it's Sancho, or it's Erik ten Hag. I hope Erik ten Hag is the choice of the majority of the Man United fans, because Mourinho didn't have the support, okay, in the past that ten Hag had. And he managed to get a second place and a Europa League for this team, Jose Mourinho. But see this, mate. Sancho, the numbers of Sancho at Man United. In 2021-2022, Sancho had 38 games, 5 goals, 3 assists. After that, in 22-23, he had 41 games, 7 goals, 3 assists. These are these are horrible numbers for what he has been bought to do, and they need a different player, okay? Or it's Sancho or it's Ten Hag. Tell us what you think. And in the Premier League, Erik ten Hag and Man United in their last 5 games, they have 3 losses. That is a horrible record, okay? And losing,
not only
horrible.
Not only that, they've lost to Brighton the last 4 times. 4 times.
Ooh.
Right?
That's a tough one too,
I believe that's correct. I have to double check that, but like they've also lost twice at Old Trafford, right? 2 times in a row to Brighton. And we'll talk about Brighton a little bit later on once we get through the Champions Leagues, but I'm with you, but when this is the time, I mean, for Ten Hag to try and make I don't know the proper analogy here. Somebody that's better with their words could come up with it. But sifting through the chaos and getting results, that's what a manager should be able to do. But yeah, the deck is seemingly stacked against him at this moment with all the infighting and I don't know. Just focus on the football. Play the right thing. There were things he could have done against De Zerbi, and I'm not a tactical genius. I am nowhere close to that, and in fact, that's my weak point when it comes to football. But even I was saying, do something, change something up, and he did nothing against Brighton. He just laid down and took it when De Zerbi, was cooking. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that this is a massive, massive fixture. If you get something out of this, you give hope. And maybe this could be that turning point because they still have enough, even with their injuries. They should have enough to get results, to get through this group, and to, I don't know, actually win in the Premier League.
They should get through this group. I agree with you. I think if Galatasaray managed to do that, that would be crazy. But tell us down below your expectations for the Bayern Munich against Man United games and the other fixtures we're mentioning. Real Madrid, Union Berlin. I think Real Madrid are going to be winning this game, but I want to say it's disrespectful that Vinicius Junior is not nominated for the FIFA Best Award. I do not know who makes this the final decision, but look, even Infantino, man, don't let this slide, man. Don't let this slide. A player like Vinicius Junior that hands down, if who knows ball knows he's at least top 10, Vinicius Junior, for what he has done for Real Madrid. He's been racially abused over the last year. He is suffering in so many angles. FIFA Best Award should demonstrate the support that shows what he's doing in football. Disrespectful, and I'm going to go with Real Madrid big time with Vinicius Junior. Yeah. Look, if he manages to come back in time, look, I just wanted to say that, though. But Bellingham scoring against Union Berlin. I'm going Real Madrid.
Yeah, you're leading La Liga goal scorer, Jude Bellingham. I'm going to go with you here. I'm going to say Real Madrid, even with all their absences and injuries, I think they'll be fine here. Union Berlin, I'm not going to say that they've been found out. But they obviously don't look as tidy. They aren't getting the same fortunate, XG outperformance that they did last season so far this season. But again, the story and how far Union Berlin has come to even get to this moment in time deserves a look. So do yourself a favor. We don't have time here to go into it. Look at what Union Berlin has done over the last 3-4 years before they likely get trounced by Real Madrid. But still, amazing story.
It's an amazing
in and
story.
Of itself.
It's true, and Union Berlin will be fighting with Braga that we keep mentioning for the Europa League position, most possibly. And this will be Braga at home against Napoli. Very interesting to see. But what do you reckon is going to happen here, Bretton?
Well, what happened this weekend? Braga unceremoniously got... Yeah, that was a little bit shocking to me because here I was ready. I mean, this ain't the Napoli from last season yet. Napoli has looked relatively toothless, but they have Victor Osimhen. But I don't think there's an upset in the cards here. I think it's going to be Osimhen, and it might not be Kvaratskhelia. It might be I don't know who else. Somebody else. But I think Napoli is going to get by Braga relatively comfortably. But do you feel, you got to throw some sort of a side ball or a curveball at me here. Do you think Braga has what it takes to upset Napoli?
I think, I think Napoli are sure favorites, okay, even though they're playing away. I think Braga will want to impress, okay, in the Champions League. But what I got to say for people at home is pay attention to Ricardo Horta, okay, a player that is called up for Portugal against Napoli and for Al Musrati, okay? Al Musrati is a Libyan baller, and I'm sure if he was English, Brazilian, even Portuguese, maybe he would be getting a lot more love. So pay attention to this player, but I don't think that Braga will be winning. But let's see. I'm going Napoli with you too. Sevilla Lan, okay, another team that Lan, what is happening this season at Lan? I think they have the same number of defeats that they had the whole entirety of last season already at the start of the season. That is a mad stat for a team that had Openda, a team that had Sekou Fofana, a team that inspired a lot of people to watch them play football. So what's happening?
It's tough. They even held on to the majority of their defense too, which was one of their best attributes or their best components last season. But very clearly, like Eli Wahi hasn't done anything just yet for long. They're bad in Lyon, and I have a feeling that Sevilla will be able to get by them too. But Sevilla is not exactly covering themselves in glory either. But it is Sevilla at home, so I will pick Sevilla. And I think El Naziri, if he's, I don't even know, is he healthy? I really haven't seen him on the score sheet or anything of that nature. But if he's healthy, he will wind up on the score sheet against this one. But Lyon are just terrible so far this season. But Sevilla has lost to Valencia, Alaves, and Girona. So this is like the toilet bowl of Champions League fixtures so far. So we'll see if it gets better for these two, I'd say, outside. Well, no, you like Sevilla to get through in this group, don't you?
Well,
you do.
I do think Sevilla will be in a European competition in February. That's the way I see it. So I think most likely they'll be winning this game against La, even though they're both in terrible form. I'm going to be going with 2. I'm going to go with Sevilla winning this match. But let us know until now if you're agreeing, and make sure you like this video too. So last 3 fixtures here. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's start here with the London one first. Arsenal against PSV. Champions League is back in London with Arteta leading the way, with Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, that is one of the best English players, and a special inspired team that can prove something and learn definitely a lot in this Champions League this season. And Arsenal are Premier League contenders right now. So it's an interesting fixture to see. I'm going to go Arsenal with PSV.
Okay, and I will go with Arsenal as well, but we actually have a blueprint to pull from. Last year in the Europa League, they played each other. Arsenal won at home, PSV won at home. So they split the difference, believe it or not. But yeah, exactly. But at the Emirates last season, right, PSV had Sangare, he's gone. Cody Gakpo, he's gone. Xavi Simons, he's gone. Noni Madueke, he's gone. But other guys have come in. First off, Luke de Jong is in ridiculous form. Ricardo Pepi got a goal and got in a fight with Irving Lozano to fight for that penalty at the end of that game over the weekend, which is something you want to see. And Joey Veerman is another guy that I'll continue to talk about. He is the glue that holds this team together. He doesn't get enough love, and frankly, he should be on, no offense to PSV, but he should be on a bigger team, if not this coming season, definitely the next one. But PSV are unbeaten in their last 20 league games, but guess what? League games don't mean anything in the Champions League, and this is Arsenal, and this is the Emirates. So I do also have Arsenal winning, but I think it's going to be a very close affair. And I think you're going to see Johan Bakayoko put on a little bit of a he's going to expose those flanks. He's going to expose the Arsenal flanks once or twice.
No Sergio Dest and all that?
I know. Well, look at me. Serginho Dest is playing really, really well for PSV, and you're right. I should have shouted that out. I absolutely should have shouted that out. Serginho Dest, for him to come in and then start him right away, I'm just happy to see him play ball again. And for a team that I think is going to be up there with Feyenoord at the end of the season, fighting for an Eredivisie title, it is just great to see Dest getting his playing time. And he got Malik Tillman, who hasn't yet quite gotten a go of it at PSV. So, yeah, we've got some American bias on PSV Eindhoven, but if we're just talking about Joey Veerman and Luke de Jong right now, that's enough to at least potentially get a goal at the Emirates if for some reason Arsenal's not tidy, but Arsenal's winning this game. I'm going to say 3-1.
And hopefully Arsenal will be starting Fabio Vieira, that is seemingly working out better than playing Havertz. I think that. And we see an interesting thing with the goalkeeping situation with Aaron Ramsdale and David Raya. Let us know, who do you think will start for Arsenal against PSV? That's an interesting one. Okay, now Real Sociedad, Inter. Inter, a team that beats 5-1 AC Milan, a team that is fully inspired. And Inzaghi with Inter hasn't. Inzaghi with Inter has 4 games, 4 wins, 12 goals scored, 1 suffered right now. They have Bastoni that has remained at that team, Barella, Lautaro, Dumfries, Di Marco at fullbacks. This is a ridiculous team that we have to pay attention. And look, they went to a Champions League final last season. They can definitely eliminate a tough team in the knockout stages. So I will be going with Inter, even though Real Sociedad will be to a difficult team. But I really think what Inter are doing, Mkhitaryan, a brace. Then you have like Sanyanoglu. Then you have like so many shrewd deals that are making sense. I cannot go against Inter, man. They're San Sebastian, get ready, man.
Yeah, and the crazy thing here is that Milan derby that they just won and basically wiped the floor with AC Milan, that didn't even really involve Lautaro Martinez. So I think he's itching to get a few goals, just meaning that he wasn't even needed because Henrik Mkhitaryan decided to turn back the clock and have the best performance in an Inter shirt in a very long time. So I think I'm going to say it. Lautaro Martinez scores 2 goals and they beat Real Sociedad, but I think Takefusa Kubo has an assist and I think it's 2-1. They win away. Inter.
But Lautaro has 5 goals and 2 assists this season, okay? Interesting and great duo partnership with Thuram, okay, that has 2 goals and 2 assists too. And Arnautovic in the mix too, okay? They had Dzeko and Lukaku last season. So these aren't bad replacements.
I have to apologize to you because I did I said some negative words I guess about the Marcus Thuram replacing Lukaku type of situation. My goodness, that was we'll see if it continues to happen, but what a nice goal that he had in that derby. So yeah, I'm ready to eat crow if Inter keeps deciding that they want to keep this win streak alive, but Inzaghi has them buzzing. So
and remember when Thuram was going to play Inter with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they didn't even let him go in the stadium because they didn't recognize who he was. You have to show a picture from Google. So from going to that to now being one of the players and star players of Inter, boy, oh boy. But you said Kubu. I want to ask you this in this podcast about Kubu. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen to Kubu next season? Do you think Real Madrid will make the decision to buy Kubu, which will cost Real Madrid 33 million? Or do you think Kubo will be bought for his release clause and Real Madrid will be getting 27 million for that deal?
Yeah. Oh. I don't think he fits in at Real Madrid.
They'll sell him for 27.
So they'd be smart.
I
think they'd be smart.
We've seen Theo. Yeah. We've seen Odegaard. Mm-hmm. That can happen too. Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Breton.
Yeah. I think they should cash in on him because I don't think he's going to... He's been really good for Real Sociedad, but I don't know if he's ready to be really good for Real Madrid.
It's a doubt, but let us know what do you think, people. Would you sell or would you buy Takefusa Kubo? Okay, with Mbappe next summer.
Good question.
It's as it seems. But last but not least, here in Lisbon, Roko Simic is coming to Lisbon. Very interesting to see what's going to happen. Benfica against Red Bull Salzburg. Salzburg, that is always a team to watch, Wonder Kids. Oscar Glock, too, Israeli and Cam, very interesting player. But look, I'm going to be going with Benfica. I think Di Maria is going to be having an assist at least, and to help becoming the all-time top assister in Champions League history, that he has 38 right now, and he'll need 42 to become number one. That he'll do this season, Di Maria. So, Benfica.
Yeah. And this is the Estadio da Luz, right? I just don't see Salzburg getting it done, even as much of me just being FC Wonder Kid, whatever. I love the names you just mentioned. I'll even add Lucas Susic is back, and he is playing ball. Again, I'll add Samson Baidu is going to be a center back that a lot of teams are going to be chasing. But I also don't think that they've been to the Estadio da Luz yet. And I have a feeling Benfica is going to outclass them there. But we'll see what they do away, because Salzburg is pretty good at getting points when they're at home, and sometimes that's enough to get you through, except when you have Inter as the one you're fighting for, and Real Sociedad. Like, this is the baby group of death, I guess. But I love this matchup, and this is definitely one that I've got circled to watch in its entirety. But I think Benfica is going to be a little too hard to beat here. They're too good right now.
You agree with me, so with Benfica. But what a video it was. And if you're listening until now, let us know in the comment section, okay? And with all your predictions, okay, of this video of game week 1 of the Champions League. Champions League is back. And look, go bold and let us know what do you think in the comment section too. A Champions League without Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi too. That will be interesting to see what's going to happen in the future now.